they've seen the importance of having to carry a Bible or read a hard copy Bible. When people read from their phones, most times they can't easily go back or even highlight certain things. But with the hard those who still cherish the hard copy books, they still come back, to pick up the hard copy books from us. A lot of Nigerians are writing more because virtually on a daily basis we get new books from Nigerian writers, asking that Latana should carry their books. It's a bit challenging, but at the same time we try to encourage them, to review their books and then accept it for display on our shelves.
We still battle with issues of piracy. There are times where royalties are not paid the way they are supposed to. Publishing houses don't put enough effort to promoting books the way they are supposed to. So that way books and people are not even aware that some Nigerian authors are writing really, really good books. I think sometimes more books written by Nigerian authors are sort of like accepted in the Western world better than they are locally. And also, in terms of marketing, publicity, locally, more effort still needs to be put in place to help us combat issues of piracy and then ensure that people are more able to access so many of these books as well locally.
For book lovers, I say keep reading because you know already what you are gaining from reading. And then for governments, give more the government that just places less emphasis on education, and every year you expect your people to be better, and then there are fightings. Any small thing, any little thing, there's fights, and it's all because of the level of exposure and education of the people, and it's playing a role in every facet of the economy, every facet of the society, because people are not well enlightened about their rights, about the opportunities that they can actually get, and many of those things come in through parts of education, and reading is part of it.
Welcome to another episode of Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. I am Fumi Onuajefe. This program focuses on the stories of people in Africa and how their innovations, ideas, and action impact on lives on the continent. On this episode of Africa on the Move, we'll be focusing on migration. Migration is currently at the center of disagreements between the mainly poor sending countries and the richer receiving countries. Today, the world is more connected than ever. Information, commodities, and money flow rapidly across the national boundaries. A phenomenon
abuse, they won't be deported, at least for now. Kate arrived in Europe a year ago.
They told me they were going to find a job for me, that there is a lot of job here. But it
campaign to try to raise awareness about the plight of the women. Katia is one of the volunteers.
Suggest to the girls to go back to prostitution. In that case, we understand.
People, please be careful when someone offers you greener pastures on the other side of the world. Our next story is on returnee migrants who migrated illegally and have returned home to Guinea. Listen to this story.
Early morning in a chicken farm near Conakry, Mamadou Tulel Bari is working with a project for returnee migrants. In 2016, he attempted the illegal journey to Europe, but he only made it to Niger. He had seen many of his friends die along the way. He himself had been tortured by human traffickers and thrown in jail by soldiers. After he was released, the International Organization for Migration flew him home.
After I returned, many people made fun of me because I didn't make it. But I felt relieved. I'm back home now and no one is oppressing me. I live well. Back there, we had problems with the military and we were discriminated against.
A total of 300 people work for the EU-funded project, which was launched by IOM and a local NGO. The most important aspect, its members are made up of equal numbers of returnees and local residents. This is to ensure that everyone benefits from the project and there is no resentment within the community.
It's already hard enough for the kids who come back. We need to motivate them, but they also need to accept the others.
Women also play a very important role in the reintegration of the returnees. Our own children are not among the returnees, but these young people could easily be our children. That's why we take care of them. My little brother, for example, also tried to leave, but criminals caught and castrated him. He has nothing left. Now he's like a woman. The boys here have all had similar experiences. That's why we need to support them. We are like mothers to them. Soon the first chickens and eggs will be sold. With 300 participants, their first payment will probably be low, but at least they will gain some perspective. Many young people in Guinea have lost hope. Well-paid jobs are difficult to find, and there aren't enough career opportunities. For many, escaping to Europe seems like the only way out. To counteract this, the Employment Office and the IOM have interviewed young people in Conakry.
As a result of the interviews, we can determine who is most likely to leave the country illegally. We then selected them for a total of 21 projects, such as the chicken farm, and support them.
Other young people will hopefully be spared to Lel's terrible experience. He now lives with relatives in Conakry and is studying political science. For now, at least, he has given up his dream of traveling to Europe.
All of the returnees and all of my friends warned me before I left, but I had to experience it for myself to believe it. All I would say to my friends now is to not even try it. It destroys you. Even if you do survive, you either feel so ashamed that you didn't make it or you come back crazy.
But whether or not he can really stop his friends from leaving remains uncertain. The IOM estimates that around 15,000 Guineans are still waiting to be repatriated.
Like I said earlier on, sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. We have a similar story of returnees being helped in Niger.
These young men are travelling through Niger, but they're not taking the usual route north. Exhausted, broke and disappointed at having failed to get to Europe, they're now heading south, trying to get home. Workers at the UN Transit Centre check their stuff for sharp objects. It doesn't take long. No one has much with them. Here they have somewhere to stop, something to eat and somewhere to sleep. Many arriving here have had an awful time. Some have even been held in prison on the way.
They hit us and treated us badly. We were only given food once a day. It was hard.
Here they can recover from their failed attempt to reach Europe and get ready to return home. Officials from the International Organization for Migration collect data about where the migrants have come from and which route they took. Many have lost everything on the way. Da Ouda Mama Oudu says many people still want to go to Europe, but an increasing number are failing to get there.
There have been more migrants returning recently. The problem has been increasing over the last 3 months. Just today we have taken in 53 migrants here.
Some run out of money before they even make it to the Mediterranean and are forced to head back. Abu Kamara left Liberia 2 months ago. He's pleased to have got out with his life. Now he just wants to go home.
The thing I saw on the road is very difficult. For now, there is no one. We make this adventure, then you succeed. Either you die after Accra days to go in Tripoli, either you die on the road or you come back.
It can take weeks to get the documents they need to go home. They stay in the centre to avoid people smugglers who might pressure them to try their luck again.
Bonjour.
Sometimes migrants ask the impossible of staff here.
Bien, tout le monde? Okay.
Monica Shiriak has only been here a few weeks. She's approached by a deaf-mute man asking for help to find a job for his friend who's got to Italy. She can't possibly do anything. Well, most of them went to Europe illegally, on the boats, through the desert, with smugglers. We can't really say to people here, go on, try it. That's why we also try to reintegrate the people who come here, so they don't attempt the journey again. But can they persuade the would-be migrants to stay at home? Many still want to go to Europe, despite having failed this time around.
If I want to go to Europe, I want to go the legal process. I don't want to go on legal process, but I want to use the legal process to go to Europe.
Few want to try the smugglers' routes again. For now, they hope they can find jobs and that their families will accept them when they get home.
Our next story is on Makayambo Ngano from the Democratic Republic of Congo, a journalist who had to flee her home all the way to Germany.
You know, sometimes when you decide that I'm leaving Kinshasa to go to that place, when you decide so, and then you can just take care of everything. But when you flee, it's just like you living. It's just like you live a part of your body. I am Makayambo Ngano. I came from Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. I'm a journalist. To be a journalist in Congo, by the time I was there in Congo, it was not so easy. First, about our security. You know, you just expose yourself. Everyone knows who you are. Whatever, where you stay, and when something happening, really, they are beyond you. There where I was working, did have some political problem. Then I just flee from Kinshasa to South Africa because my husband was already that side as a refugee. To my own country, I was just feeling at home, but when I went to South Africa, it's just like, yeah, I need to do so. I need to be careful because I'm not in my own country. We saw people in our own eyes to be killed. We were attacked ourselves.
We left South Africa for the very same reason again.
Political problem.
For very same reason again. See, what we have fled from our country had followed us in South Africa. When you don't feel safe, you are threatened, you are obliged to leave, and we left. We left.
Since March of this year, we have been granted a status of refugee here in Germany, and then they even told us that we're giving you that status because you were already a refugee. You know. It was really stressful, and then we need to stay in the bad conditions also, if I can say so, with some people you don't know, you sleeping in the same place, and then you need to do so, and you must wait for the food they're giving you. If you miss that food, you miss. What I like it here is that integration. The integration really, I did like it. They integrate you You must just learn the language, and beside, they're just teaching you how is the country, how the country is ruled, with the culture, about everything. Really, that integration is what I like it. And it's just like they make you also to feel at home if you want to be integrated. Because there is others, really, they say, what is that? I don't want to, you know.
We'll take a break and then we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we'll take a look at the lives of other migrants living in Germany as well.
Every time when you move the side to side, remember I came from Congo, I was in South Africa, I was in Sweden, today I'm here in Germany. As a Christian, whatever you go, you must search where is God. We're always going to find out our own people. That's why really I can see I'm just feeling at home when I'm going to the church. I am Makaya Bungano. I came from Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. I'm a journalist. One day I meet a lady called Regina. We met because they are the one who are just like a volunteer, giving us some course of Dutch course by the camp where we were. That lady was just asking us if we were Christian, and then she was saying that if we want to visit a church.
So your church is a bit different to the, let's say, traditional German church. How would you say it's different? In what way?
Yes, we, as you see, we focus on worship. We sing a lot. We like to invite people, refugees, as well as other people around. We invite young people and children as well to come to our church.
It's like I don't understand everything, but I understand what is going on. And especially, I found the church with just talking about the language I want to learn. And it just making me to be happy and then to just come.
Patience is a very positive person, easy to communicate with her, so all of my friends easily came in touch with her, and so it's really a blessing for my family as well.
She's like my family. My family, they are not here. I'm here with my husband, you know. Every Sunday when I'm here, when I have time, I also go to the Congolese church.
We are very, very hot. That's why she come here to dance, because we dance, we move.
Yeah. Is it like a church in Congo? Is it?
Of course, yes.
Yes.
For me, it's just really, it just puts me in a good mood. And to see my own people, they're preaching in English, they're singing, they're preaching in French, they're singing in French, Lingala, they're singing in Kikongo, English also, even in Germany.
Would you say you found, like, you feel at home now in Germany? Like
I'm feeling at home.
Home away from home.
Really, I also integrate because I'm an open person. I talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't mind who you are, but as long as it's a person, a human being, we just talk.
Thank you for joining us on Africa on the Move. See you next week.
I actually moved back to Nigeria to open a bakery. This was my goal. And everything I did up till this point was in preparation for this. First of all, life was great because I moved in 2015 right before the recession, right? It was awesome. I was like, wow, there's so much money out here, man. The cost of overheads, power generation, water, you have to be your own local government. And there are no tax breaks. Many places where, where they realize the small business environment is difficult would offer some kind of tax breaks and incentives. We don't do that out here. We want you to come back. We want you to, to start businesses here, but we're not going to do anything to help you. All my experiences in the past have led me ultimately to where I am now.
One-on-one with a serial entrepreneur, Edose Ohen.
There's always going to be negative connotations associated with people in general, especially groups of people. It just so happens that it tends to be a lot of fraud associated with Nigerians. Instead of focusing on the fact that there is a connotation of fraud, what we try to do is focus on the fact that there are a lot of us, more than a few of us, that are actually doing things the right way. One of the most educated ethnic groups in the States are Nigerians. Nigeria is the most beautiful country in the world. There's so many opportunities here. I think that there's so much growth remaining here. I think that the future is here. And I think that Nigeria is a place that nobody should leave, right? Because there's so much left to do.
Premiering this Monday at 12:30 p.m. and repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Today we are back again in the slum of Ajegunle, where we bring you incredible stories. First of all, when we hear about the slum, we think of places where people live in abject poverty, dirty areas, and people in deplorable condition. And for the most part, that's what the situation is everywhere in the world, in Africa and even in Nigeria. But today we're bringing you a story of this place. Here in the school, Moritz International, where school fees are being paid with PET bottles, such as the ones I have in my hand.
We don't want any excuses for not paying your child's school fees. Your child must come to school. So we came up with this initiative. And these are plastic bottles that we've collected, and more will still come to the school. These are the plastic bottles. We collect cartons too, paper, cans, aluminium cans, carton, even pure water sachet. That's a bag of pure water sachet over there. So we exchange this for school fees because I want to see, I have the passion to see that these children learn well. We use British curriculum in the school. That is why it is called an international school. So we want these children in the slum that are less privileged, sort of, from low-income families, to enjoy education that the elites enjoy in the society too.
We are here today because we have a project we're running in partnership with the Moritz International School, and that is the Recycle Space educational project. It's a project because it's something we want to do for the community, it's something we want to do for human lives. And the beauty about the Recycle Space project is the parents are involved, the environment is involved, the school is involved, the recycling firm is involved, and everyone has a way of trying to connect with the whole idea. And so for us, we kickstarted this project sometime last year because we came about a report that was, I think, released by the World Economic Forum that said in a few years time to come, in the ocean, you're going to find more plastics than fishes. And that means that we need to start thinking of what we can do with the plastics, something productive, so that we don't end up having more plastics in the ocean than the fishes. And also, we also came about a report that was conducted by UNICEF that said that Nigeria is currently #1 when it comes to the numbers of children that are out of school in the world. That figure is alarming.
Our school fees from play group to nursery 2 is 4,000 naira. Then our basic 1 to basic 6 is 5,000 naira. Family.
So what are your thoughts on what you people are doing? The fact that you're collecting plastic bottles and sachets for school fees?
Looking at our streets today, it's very dirty and you see plastic waste everywhere. Then we think of, okay, why not we ask the parents to be part of it? Picking plastic, we call the ACI to pick it up and wait, talk about the kilo to pay their school fees.
Sometimes I go pick them, I will go sell, I will bring and call me and my mom, we use and manage because things was hard. Things they very, very critical. Nobody, no helper, my myself, now only me and my mom. So they knock hand to hand to take. Even the children, Papa self has since come like say they bother them say una pikin una this thing. I say okay, at least they say single mother they take care of him pikin. Anyhow, even anything what I fit do, ma take care of my pikin at least before Uncle come bring the pay. And true, when he bring the pay bottle, it was okay. I was very, very happy because he relieved me for some kind of things, many things. Thinking of my pikin school fees, I wonder, my pikin books, I wonder. He relieved me many, many things because Uncle self through the pay bottle self, himself assists me. Picking the pay bottles, I will advise a lot of people. I will tell them say he pay because if he not pay me, I no go do am, which I still dey do until now.
Children of Morit International School knows about recycling well. Imagine if everybody is picking these things around them. We'll have less waste around, and this program is a sustainable program. So you imagine this in the drainage. It will cause flooding. We've helped the earth, we've helped their environment. In fact, Mother Earth is happy with the school and what we are doing.
Many thanks for joining us on News on the Hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines, and I am Amaka Okoye. President Muhammadu Buhari will embark on a 6-day trip to London on Friday, according to State House. He is to participate in the inaugural UK-Africa Investment Summit while in London. The summit opens on Monday, January the 20th, but Buhari will jet out of Abuja today. Buhari is expected back in Nigeria on Thursday next week. It will be his first foreign trip this new year. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has demanded the resignation of the Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Tanko Muhammad, over the recent judgment of the Imo State governorship election appeal. The chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, while speaking to newsmen in Abuja, also demanded that the Chief Justice exclude himself from other election petition cases involving the PDP before the Apex Court. Secondus also urged the Supreme Court to review the judgment of the Imo State governorship election appeal, saying this should be done in the interest of justice and not to forestall a breakdown of law and order.
The judgment of the Supreme Court voiding the lawful
election of Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, who scored 276,404 and awarding fictitious votes to declare Hope Uzodinma of the APC, who scored 96,458 as a governor of Imo State, is highly irrational, unfounded, a provocative product of executive manipulation, and a recipe for crisis, which we don't pray for. In the light of extraordinary circumstances that they shared that judgment as a product, manipulation, and a clear coup d'etat against the will of the people of Imo State, we demand that the decision of the Supreme Court on the Imo governorship election be reviewed and reversed in the interest of justice. Furthermore, we demand that Justice Tanko Mohammed, the CGN, and his colleagues on the Imo governorship panel rescue themselves from the remaining cases involving PDP in the Supreme Court. Finally, we state for the records that the Supreme Court order under Justice Tanko Mohammed should be held responsible if there is any breakdown of law and order in any state as a result of judgment procured solely for political rather judicial reasons, as is currently happening.
At least 14 people have been killed after suspected bandits invaded Babanrafi village in Zamfara state. The attack, which occurred on Thursday in Gumi local government area of the state, also left many other villagers injured. The bandits were said to have stormed the village with over 40 motorbikes in the early hours of the day and opened fire on residents who were still indoors. During the invasion, the assailants carted away with several valuables from the villagers, including money, mobile phones, and livestock, among others. When contacted, the police authorities in the state confirmed the attack. The public relations officer in Zamfara, Mohammed Shehu, revealed that the bandits, who were in large numbers, invaded Babanrafi village from neighboring Kebbi state. And joining us live now on the phone interview is security expert Kabir Adamu to talk about this. Hello, Kabir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on News on the Hour. Now, is this a new strategy from these suspected bandits that we are seeing, and how do we ascertain the culprits even?
Yes, it is not necessarily a new strategy, because this is how they've been attacking in the past. They will come on bikes in numbering about 50 or above and attack unsuspecting villagers. However, since the swearing in of this current governor, he has done a lot in terms of hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was saying that the new governor, Machawale, has done a lot in terms of his peace and reconciliation initiative, where he brought together all the stakeholders, including the bandits, and came to a resolution sort of, and a peace agreement was signed. So that led to a massive reduction, almost about 90% of the kind of attacks we were seeing previously. So this actually came as a surprise, even though we know that about a month back, there were 1 or 2 attacks, and the indication was that it was some bandits who were not part of the peace and reconciliation agreement. And then he had issued a warning and had actually held meetings with different stakeholders where he urged all, including the bandits who had embraced the peace agreement, to go after the non-repentant ones. So hearing that this type of attack would come from a neighboring state like Kebbi, it begs the question whether the northwestern states should have come together to do a general sort of peace and reconciliation agreement. It also brings up the question how porous our borders are.
Now, that leads me to my second question, because if you just mentioned that Matawalle has done a lot in terms of having to see this kind of activities do not occur again, why are we still seeing this? Is there something that they're not getting right? The government of the state is still not getting right, because this is coming just 2 days after there was an attack in that same state, you know, and this is twice in a month. We're not even half the month, almost a month already.
To call a state, the reality is that security, that is policing and defense, is still an exclusive reserve of the federal government. So any state-based initiative or regional initiative that does not get the full blessing of the federal government is likely to be completely successful. When Zamfara state government started its peace and reconciliation initiative, we encourage the federal government to support it because, yes, it was a good move. But remember that Zamfara state government does not have the police. It cannot control the police, even though the police was involved in the peace and reconciliation initiative. But without the directive of the federal government, the police cannot take the initiative. So yes, the move by the Zamfara state government was very good. But because the federal government was not completely involved, I think this is why we're seeing what we're seeing. I was mentioning the issue of border control. The Zamfara state government can do very little in terms of border control. It has to be the federal government. Then proliferation of small arms and light weapons. There is very little the Zamfara state government can do. It's the federal government that needs to come in. Then the climate change implications that is triggering the violence. There's very little the state government can do. It's the federal government that needs to come in. And in fact, even the federal government, it needs to link up with other neighboring countries like Niger and as far as Senegal.
All right. Reports also indicates that, you know, mobile police force and counter-terrorism units and federal special anti-robbery squad, which is SARS of the Nigerian police, were deployed to that village, you know, after the attack. As we would see in most cases, we always get to see these people after the attack. My question would be, why is it not the other way around? Why don't we have them on standby, considering the fact that that place has become vulnerable in, you know, recent times?
So unfortunately, the reality is that the current policing philosophy and even our national security strategy does, until the review last month in December, was not people-centric. It was more or less, if you have money or if you are influential, then you get some form of security support. But I think this is what this current government is trying to change with the launching of the National Security Strategy 29 to make security more people-centric. In other words, the reasons why you don't have security deployment in villages like the ones that were attacked in Gumi local government is because, I mean, the people don't have a say. Nobody sort of is speaking on their behalf. But hopefully this is something that will change going forward. The other component is the kind of security structure that we have. We do not have light and easily deployable units within our security system. So that's something that I'm hoping going forward we would have that kind of rapid response capabilities within our security agencies.
All right, let's move away a bit from Zamfara. Now, we have seen Katsina State banning the use of motorbikes as a way to curb insecurity. Do you think that is the way to go? Would that be the solution to the problem?
Unfortunately, no. It comes up with a lot of questions. How are they going to enforce that? Then, more importantly, what alternative means have they provided for the people? The majority of the common people in Katsina State rely on motorcycles and tricycles for commuting from point A to point B. So what alternative arrangement? This is a state that does not have any public transportation system in place. So unfortunately, the desire that we have for people to support the security initiatives is being defeated by policies like this. Even though I can understand what the state government is trying to achieve, but I think this measure is too knee-jerk in terms of the response, and it's not well thought out. They should have provided public means of transportation that would take care of this requirement that I said that for ordinary people who use the tricycles and the bikes, currently that alternative measure has not been provided. Then secondly, enforcement is going to be a challenge. Not too long ago, last year, the military actually attempted to enforce that type of measure, but it wasn't successful because there is no enough security personnel and the wherewithal to actually enforce that. So I'm not sure why the state government is, thinking of this without necessarily thinking of how to enforce it.
All right, before I let you go, still on security matters, what are your thoughts on Amotekun, even as the the AGF declares it illegal?
Well, I'm a security professional, so I'm going to respond to your question from my standpoint, what I know. The Operation Amotekun is a natural consequence of the weakness of the federal security architecture or arrangement to provide security across the country. However, my candid opinion is that the governors and the other Southwest leaders who were behind the initiative did not take time to ensure that in coming up with the initiative, it conformed with our constitutional arrangement. Currently, and like I said earlier on, security, as it were, is the exclusive preserve of the federal government. However, there are several states that have come up with different security arrangements. But what they did is that their state assemblies came up with laws that supported those arrangements. And this is the first time we're seeing a regional arrangement, and it's not backed by law. So despite the fact that there is a need as a security professional, I see Operation Amotekun as needful. Unfortunately, my understanding is that it does not conform with our existing laws. So I think the governors need to go back to the drawing board, ensure that the various state assemblies come up with laws to support the creation, and more importantly, come up with an operational guideline that is transparent. Currently, we do not know what the operational guideline of Operation Amotekun is.
All right, moving forward as a security expert, what are the options you think we have to see a collaborative effort between the government and the people?
We already have a template, the revised National Security Strategy 2019 endorsed community policing. So that for me is the template. And more importantly, we've attempted to introduce the community policing in about 18 states already. So the mistakes that were made in those 18 states, we need to study those mistakes. We need to understand what are needed to correct so that we see a better and more enhanced community policing approach. The reality is that the federal policing structure has been ineffective in taking care of the various security challenges across the country. So this new template, as provided under the revised National Security Strategy 2019, is the way to go. And I would call on all the various components of the national security architecture to study that document and to come up with an implementation strategy, beginning with the police, because remember, they are the chief architect of all of this. We need to support them. And I think Lagos State government has a very interesting template. The Lagos State Security Trust Fund is a model that I'm encouraging all other states to study and use as a beginning point for this kind of interface between the organized private sector, as it were, and the federal police and other security structures that we have.
All right, thank you very much, Malam Kabir Adamu, for your time and speaking with us here on Plus TV Africa News on the Hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
And the news will continue after this short break. We'll be back in a moment. And on the African scenes, the army said 2 soldiers have been killed and 4 wounded in fighting late on Tuesday in Khartoum with former members of the country's once feared security service before government forces quelled the uprising. It was the biggest confrontation so far between the old guard and supporters of the transitional authorities, which helped topple Bashir in April after 30 years in power. The Transitional Sovereign Council, which runs the country, accepted the resignation of General Abubakar Dumblab, the head of the General Intelligence Service, formerly known as National Intelligence and Security Service. A council statement said the council appointed General Jamal Abdul Majid as a new head of the service. Dunlap resigned to open the door for a new leadership to take over the agency at a sensitive and delicate stage, the intelligence service added in their statement. That's it on the African Sis. Up next is the foreign news.
We're fresh into the new year, and The Advocate is marking its 1-year anniversary with a special edition.
I didn't know condoms were free. That's the thing. Condoms are free.
When you're talking about if a case of condom being free or not, I was just saying I have to phone a friend because I'm not really in that department.
We have a lot of capacity. You know, we're change makers. There's nothing we cannot turn around.
I've had friends that said that, you know what, when I got married, I didn't think that what I went through with my parents, I didn't think those things were going to repeat itself. And then I entered my own marriage and I saw myself exhibiting something. I'm like, no, I need to take a break.
We cannot build a nation without the strength of the youth and the wisdom of the elders.
Nah. We don't just have strength, we have wisdom. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Wisdom is Nigeria.
Chill. It's all this.
On the foreign scenes, Ukrainian Prime Minister Oleksiy Honcharuk said on Friday that the fact that he has submitted a letter of resignation will not affect reforms and Ukrainian cooperation with the International Monetary Fund. Honcharuk has submitted a letter of resignation waiting for President Volodymyr Zelensky to consider it. And up next is the business news.
And in business, Zainab Ahmed, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, says the implementation of a value-added tax increase from 5% to 7.5% will take effect from February 1st. Ahmed said this during the inauguration of the chairman and board members of the Federal Inland Revenue Service in Abuja on Thursday. We plan that going forward, the annual budget will always be accompanied by finance bills to enable the realization of revenue projections. The Finance Act has also taken care of essential palliatives to support micro, small and medium enterprises and mitigate the impact of VAT rate increase on the most valuable businesses, commodities and citizens in the economy. Here with me in the studio is Gospel Obele. He is an economist. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, regarding the VAT increase from 5% to 7.5%, what's your take on it?
Well, I think it's basically the Finance Act is a good bill, it's a good one in terms of if you look at it from ease of doing business and all that. But for that increase in taxes, in the tax rate, the VAT rate, I just think it's a rise in that cost implications for businesses, and I don't think it's moving in the right direction. I would have thought that we would have encouraged in terms of tax compliance, expanding the tax net rather than the rate. So there are more things to do or that can be done in encouraging that tax compliance. Even at 5%, there are more persons who are evading taxes. There has to be incentive to get them on board. There are social capital issues around trust and accountability that needs to be dealt with from the fiscal end. So it seems more like to me we're trying to enforce a policy, to cover that fiscal indiscipline that currently happens. When you look at the revenue side of the budget, it's more of a fiscal indiscipline question on why we have a revenue crisis than a tax issue per se. So we need to, fix the social capital and create incentives to bring more people into the tax net than increasing the rate. What the rate will only do for those, in quote, seemingly thriving businesses above 25 million would be to increase the cost of doing business for them, which also counter-negates the ease of doing business agenda by the government. So yes, ease of doing business works for SMEs, but SMEs need to get to a point where they can thrive and create jobs, to take out that take out the critical mass from the unemployment space and all that. And for businesses that have are seemingly thriving, they are the ones that are caught up in the new tax regime and all that. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a policy used, like many other policies by the federal government, it's patchy. It doesn't deal with the core issues around social accountability, social capital, and encouraging more people into the tax
But do you
net.
see this particular policy now? Do you see this particular move actualizing the purpose for which it has been created?
Well, I think it's a reactive move than a proactive move. So, yes, it may be, the purpose may be actualized in the sense that it would increase revenue because organizations may not necessarily have so much option than to abide. And there's a lot of reforms internally in the FIRS to encourage that. What would happen is that organizations will end up splitting that cost. Either they will put the cost on the employees or on the final consumer. That's what will happen. On the other end of things, you find out that we'll have to wait to, get the revenues from this increase in VAT before we can channel them into health, infrastructure, and all that. But if you take a look,
finally, because of time now, do you think Nigerians are ready for this particular move? In terms of, not everybody's income would be increased, right?
Nigerians are basically not ready because it's a strong survivor-driven environment. So people are still trying to get their heads above the waters, and then you impose this. So I don't think it's a good move in the right direction. I think a lot more needs to be done around social accountability and encouraging people into the tax net. And a whole lot more honesty has to be done around the budget financing process, the revenue, the debt servicing, and all the likes. If you look at the 2019 implementation report, you find that as at second quarter, 58% of the 2019 budget has been implemented, but it was on the revenue side. So it was on the expenditure side, you had so much on recurrent expenditure, and as at the second quarter, capital expenditure had not hit 1 trillion yet. So even if yes, we increase revenue from this new initiative, you will find out that even the recurrent expenditure side of the budget would amount for so much of that revenue expenditure than what should be happening in terms of the real investments, infrastructure, and like. So I think it's reactive. We need to be more proactive with our policies, basically.
All right, thank you so much because of time. That's all. Can I have?
Thank you for having me.
And that's all on businesses at this hour. Still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports.
Mona Lisa is all about me. It's all about you. It's all about our stories. The stories that never get told, but ought to.
Whereby water transportation does not make financial sense, it makes economic sense.
I was there for 2.5 hours on the floor. Nobody attended to me.
If we don't take care of the poor will take care of us.
It's about getting at the root of things and hearing from the horse's mouth.
We have 15 public hospitals to make them affordable.
In the whole of Africa, we are bigger. Nigeria, we sleep, eat, dream, fashion.
Those with the financial backing don't see fashion as an investment, which makes no sense.
If they do it for free, they won't have money for the next case.
Mona Lisa is about real life and real lives, yours and mine. Make a date with Mona Lisa, and together, let's ensure that the important stories get told.
And in entertainment, according to Jade Osiberu, producer of the movie Sugar Rush, the film is back in the cinema after getting a ban by the National Film and Video Censors Board. She took to her social media page to announce the news to her fans on Thursday, January the 16th, 2020. The executive director of the NFVCB also issued a statement on the latest developments via its official social media page. According to the board, the movie was reinstated to the cinemas after the producers did their due diligence. And that's it on entertainment. The very best in sports comes up right after this break.
And in sports, hosts South Africa and Afghanistan will kick off the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup today at the Diamond Oval in Kimberley. First-timers Nigeria will join 15 other teams to contest for the junior cricket title after a brilliant qualifying ride in Namibia in March 2019. Nigeria will play Australia in their first match on Monday, January 20th at Country Club B Field in Kimberley. Nshenwa Jidagba, a cricket expert, says we should not expect much from the lads, but to applaud their journey so far.
Yes, Nigeria have qualified for their first Cricket World Cup. Against all the odds, nobody gave them a chance. From Division 2, they had to qualify to Division 1, where they faced top teams like Uganda, Namibia, Kenya, who were way ahead of the national team. But honestly speaking, going to the World Cup for Nigeria is absolutely huge for us because nobody gave us a chance. But unfortunately, we have been pitted in a very, very difficult group where we've got countries like Australia, West Indies, and England. Our first game is on the 20th of January, and that will be history in the making, where Nigeria will be taking on Australia. Australia are former champions, and they are also losing finalists from the last edition. The next country we'll be facing is on the 23rd of January, and that will be West Indies. And on the 25th of January, we are facing another team that won the World Cup before, and that's England. But like I've always said, cricket na biscuit, because not even the best mathematician in Pythagoras can break biscuit into two equal halves. So on the basis of that, I expect the Nigerian team to give their best because it's just their debut World Cup, and anything is capable of happening. There could be surprises here and there, but hey, if you are looking at preparation, pedigree, and those who have got experience, you want to say that all these teams have it better than Nigeria. We played a friendly game some days ago against Pakistan, who are one of the teams participating at the World Cup also, and they really, gave us a cricket lesson. We were beaten by 10 wickets. We batted first, scored 109 runs for loss of 10 wickets in 36.2 overs, while our opponent scored that same amount of runs with the loss of just 1 wicket. In defeat, you learn 1 or 2 lessons. But I know that we've got a squad that can ruffle shoulders with these top guys. Well, you got players like Sylvester Okpe, who has played with the senior national team before. He's the captain of the side. Taiwo Mohammed also have played with the senior national team, but he's within the under-19 age bracket, who is the vice captain. We've got Sulaiman Rushe, where you got Peter Aho, Isaac Danladi, Abolani Rashid, Mirekuli Kaegwe, so these are guys that will want to go to the World Cup and, of course, leave an indelible mark. But on the basis of the teams you are going to be facing with their pedigree and their preparation, you want to say that Nigeria don't stand any chance of getting out of that group. But if we do, of course, that will be a miracle in its stead. And the honest truth is, qualifying for the World Cup for us is absolutely huge. Nobody ever saw it coming, and we can pick it up from there. So I expect Coach Ute Ogbini and every member of the team to put up a spectacular performance. Even if you are losing, don't lose scandalously so that you give it a fight. But all in all, I feel that the Nigerian national team, who are making their debut at the Cricket World Cup in South Africa, will go out there and, of course, give it a fight, and we can take it up from there. But let's not expect too much from these guys. I just want them to go and have fun. And in the process of having fun, anything is capable of happening. Whoever thought we would qualify for the World Cup, nobody ever saw it coming. So the same way we qualify for the World Cup, we can also make a shout at the World Cup.
Of course, like we had the Amputee Eagles make a shout at the Amputee World Cup. The cricket team, under-19 team from Nigeria, can also cause an upset at the ICC under-19 Cricket World Cup. But that's it on Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoko.
Many thanks, Udoka Njoko. Then that's also our news roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is at Plus TV Africa. We will be back later with more stories making the headlines. Please to join us again. I am Amaka Okuyi. Have yourselves a great day.
This is Plus TV Africa, where big stories live. Welcome to Tea Time, where we'll bring you the biggest entertainment stories and very interesting personalities in the world of entertainment. My name is Osi Godwin, and I've got my co-anchors with me, Ewa Oluwaritu and Ifeoluwa Oshonkeye.
Star girl.
Hardly Nigerian.
Star girl.
Blue, white, green. Today's your day.
The star is so much.
I don't understand.
As in, you are shining.
Thank you.
The star.
Can't you just do it like in a classy way?
Man.
She's always looking good.
Always looking
looking good.
Okay, this
You're looking good.
Oh, always.
It's
always. I look good.
You never disappoint.
Shake on. Thank you very much for far too
Yeah,
kind.
Tata. Do you know what Tata is? Do you know what
Yes,
Tata
it's
is?
a car, it's a bus that goes to Ikorodu.
Oh, that's what you are.
Good.
All right, let's start with the good news. Sugar Rush is back in the cinema after 1 week ban. The news was announced by the producer of the movie, Jade Oshiberu, via her Instagram page. In her post, she thanked everyone who reached out during the ban. She went on to thank the executive director of the NFVCB, Alhaji Adedayo Thomas, for helping get the movie back in the cinema.
Oh, I mean, am I the only one excited about this?
What you see now?
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I'm excited because I have planned on seeing it. So maybe this weekend I will just go see it.
Ife, are you doing the same?
No, I'm not going to see it till but I don't think I'll go to the cinema to go see Sugar Rush, but obviously I want to see it.
So where do you want to see it if you don't see it?
I don't know, maybe my girlfriend's house. She always has new movies. I don't know if she gets them.
They are coming for her. They are coming for her.
Okay, I mean, that's good news.
But I just don't think I'll go to the cinema. No, I'm not like I won't go to the cinema to see a Nigerian movie, but I think people have told me, they've given me too much spoiler alerts for me to go and watch it. You know?
I hope I'm not part of those people.
Yes, you are part of them. Like, I feel like I know the whole story already, so I don't
you
think
can tell me the whole story, yeah, but then I still want to watch them.
Are you one of those people that when you're watching, watch you, then this guy will soon do this, like I hate that thing when I'm watching a movie.
It's like someone telling you or you telling someone.
Like we're watching a movie together and you're telling, because you've seen it before, you now start telling me what's going to happen next.
Sometimes I can be like that.
No, please don't.
I'll just be like, no, calm down, Joe, they will not kill you.
No, I don't like that.
Okay,
but big shout out to Sugar Rush, because the ban has it been lifted, or it has been they finalized their approval, so it's the final approval, so the movie will be in the cinemas for as long as it should be. So I think this is good news, but a part of me thinks that this is a stunt for you to talk more about this movie and get more people to go and see the movie, because now they've created a lot of buzz around this movie already, and more people will rush to the cinema. You see that the cinema is going to be shut down this weekend because people want to go and see Sugar Rush.
Especially because of the EFCC controversy that came into...
EFCC,
yeah, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you so?
That was so like and they coming to carry you. What did you do?
Don't be scared. No, but you know the EFCC controversy that the way they were portrayed. Personally, I want to see what exactly EFCC did.
Okay, and I can't wait to hear what you think about that. Well, let's move on to the next story because we have a guest. Peruzzi replies his former boss Patrick Anyene. He claims that his former boss made him lose 27 songs and sold his songs without his consent, while also admitting that he was signed under Golden Boy Entertainment.
Okay, so this comes, like we said yesterday, there are three sides to a story: my side, your side, and the truth. Now we're beginning to get other sides of the story, especially when Davido is also being dragged into this, because the guy said Davido did him as much wrong as Peruzzi, because he knew it was signed to him and he was using his songs, he wasn't giving him royalty. And then I saw the leak of Fire. Do you know that it's
not just Fire? I think about 2 songs.
Yeah, but the one he actually dropped the receipt for was Fire, and it was an exact lift. Same beats, same lyrics. Like, he didn't tweak anything. It was just it was just a delivery. And I think it's okay to have ghostwriters, but at the end of the day, make some inputs. That's what I feel. If you must have a ghostwriter.
No, but you know, we didn't listen to like the full track, so maybe the input.
Maybe the part, okay, well, that's possible. Maybe like the second verse or something. Okay, that's another angle to look. But I just didn't like the fact that it was an exact lift.
For me, whether it was exact
that's not even the
point.
point.
Did you not dance to the song?
Right. No, for me, I don't think Peruzzi's statement still doesn't put him in any good light right now. For me,
I don't think that was his aim, because if that was his aim, then he should try again.
Everything he said was just bypass.
Not be you saying.
And you get like,
what does he even mean? Does he so he signed
address
you,
the
you
issue?
signed.
Did he pay your school fees? Did he help you? I mean,
that's why I say, let's even
for
forget the sentiment of helping you pay your school fees. Anybody can do that, right? But at the end of the day,
anybody can. It takes a good ass.
At the end of the day, something was signed, and he have come out to agree and admit that you signed a contract. Have you met your own obligation of the contract? That's
I'm not supporting Peruzzi right now, but we all hurt differently. Imagine I'm your signee, right? And then I start recording songs, and then you start selling it to Nollywood for scores. You start selling it to other
No, I
artists
think Peruzzi's
without my
pain would
consent.
even come more from breaking 27 songs. You know,
Do you
maybe
understand?
one
Do
of
you know
these
the
hit
creative
songs
process
that
to make a
you know,
song, and then you now break the computer. I have 27 songs.
Because you have issues
so I'm
with
not
your
supporting
girlfriend.
Peruzzi. I'm just saying that okay, I think some truth is coming to light. We are beginning to get the full picture, and I think more will still come out because as the bass boost is going, the boost bass will be coming.
But I don't like the way I don't like the way Peruzzi is handling it. I mean, if you really think that you have a point or you have a reason why all this happened, maybe you should come and explain. Of course, you will go to court and then you go and answer why you breached a contract. But if you want, you know, people's sympathy and let people understand where you're coming from, because we'll just say, oh, you know, people react to things differently.
I don't think he wants any sympathy because he used the word stupid and that people should keep believing what they see online. They keep being stupid at all. I mean, Peruzzi
I think what he said is actually right.
Him, but my own is when you get to court at the end of the day, it's stressful because no, that statement. I don't know if I'm even sorry to say, but he lacks character. You know, every time Peruzzi has been in the news, it's. I mean, sometimes they step back and allow their PR team or people handle it, but he keeps handling it his own way, and it doesn't. It usually leaves the bitter taste in the mouth, right? So, whatever it is, whether they broke your song or they sold your song, take it to court, bring out your receipt and defend it the way it's supposed to be defended. You cannot just come out and say, oh, because you did this. It's just like me coming here to say, oh, maybe because my boss annoyed me, so my obligation in the office, I'm not going to meet it anymore because I'm feeling some type of way. No, emotions doesn't work in business. Fine, he broke your songs. At the end of the day, he's losing, you're losing. Come back to the drawing board and you moved on from there. So
no, but it's not as easy as you said. Like,
I know,
when it comes to music,
That's why I said
not as easy as that, but this is not just the best.
This is a legal case. It's not a sentimental case at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It will still tell you
the only person who started bringing. Okay, now it's sounding like I'm defending Peruzzi, but I don't mean.
No, you can't. No. You don't even. I don't even see it as you're defending it. You're just saying it the way it is.
I'm not even trying to defend Peruzzi, but in as much as you feel like we shouldn't bring sentiment into this, the first person that brought sentiment into this is Patrick, because Peruzzi too can be saying that, oh, I was really hurt, I lost 27 songs, I was really hurt, you're talking about the house that you lived in after you signed me, because we all know that most times, part of the agreement of a contract, especially when you sign an artist, is that you give them accommodation, you give them clothing allowance. So all these clothes Patrick has been saying, I clothed him, I gave him shelter. Was it part of the deal? Now he needs to explain that part. What I'm saying, that a lot of truth is beginning to come to light, and I believe that with time we will get the full picture, because if Patrick really wants to play this game, then he should be ready to go all out.
I mean, I think that the best way they can play this game is just go to court. And
they're already in court.
Yeah, I mean, so they should
no,
keep...
it's not yet in court, actually.
It actually is.
They're not yet in court. They're processing going to court. According to their lawyer.
That, but that's not what I've been saying. Anyway, it's time for a quick break. But before that happens, here is something for all cake and pastry lovers. Do visit Reyes and Posente. They've got wedding cakes, cupcakes, birthday cakes, and so much more. That's at Reyes and Posente Cakes on Instagram. Make sure to check them out. You get to find out who our guest is right after this break.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Cross Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
A lot of the jobs that exist today will not exist in the next 10 years.
10 years.
When I see people today shouting, we're not too young to run, we are ready to run. Ready to run to where?
The people of excellence are, to a certain extent, being held ransom by idiots and bandits.
Once you are in government, you believe everything you do is right. And once you are in opposition, everything the government does is wrong.
And so it's time for us to take over power.
This is Tea Time on Plus TV Africa. Our guest on this episode is Jason Igo, a Nigerian from Delta State, but born and brought up in Jos, who was formerly signed to MMM Records. With singles featuring industry giants like MI and Techno, let's make welcome Kido Blanco.
Welcome, welcome.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Kido Blanco.
Yes, boss.
What does that mean?
Kido Blanco was a name I got from school. Yeah, they used to call me Kido, but Blanco was added to it because I felt a lot of people be a Kido. So I had to add Blanco.
So what does Blanco mean?
It's just my vibe. I'm Blanco.
All right, so you were once signed to Mikel Obi's record label,
Yes,
right?
I was.
So what happened? Why did you leave? Because everyone would have thought that's a big platform.
And it didn't go as planned because there was like a mismanagement. That's the truth. Yeah, because it didn't work out. That's just the truth.
It didn't work out. And is it working out now that you?
Yeah, it is.
You're an entertainer. I mean, you're an independent.
Yeah, it's working out right now. It's going good. After I left MMM Records, I did the song with MI.
Okay.
I did a song with Techno, so I could say so far it's going good.
Talking of that song with MI, I love that song so much. Link Up, right? Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
Shout out to that guy, them.
Yeah, that's true.
We be balling like Ben 10. But I got lost when you said we be balling like Ben 10. Can you explain that lyric, that part of the
We be
song?
balling like Ben 10. Ben 10, the guy ball that he roll, so we be balling like Ben 10.
Oh, okay, that ball that you. Okay. Now you get it.
Yeah.
Okay. True, yeah.
Now it makes sense, yeah. So when did you officially start music before you got signed into Mikel Obi's record label?
Like 6-7 years ago in Jos.
Okay.
Yeah, 6-7 years ago.
And how has it been since then?
It's been good. It was tough at first. You know, when I got signed to Mikel Obi's label, I thought like that was it. But they had like too many artists. They had like 7 artists, like Splash, Charas, were a whole lot under the label. So.
Okay, when you were
including his brother.
Yeah, his brother too was singing.
After you left your record label, was there like any drama? You know, mild drama. Maybe you didn't get to the internet, or was there any? Did you breach any contract? Let me just ask you.
No, not really. I had to wait because I wanted leaving, but they said they had a contract, so we went back and forth. But eventually, I left.
Okay, so what's your relationship with them now?
We good. Like Mikel's brother, he's my very close friend. There's no bad blood. We good.
Okay, so now that you've moved on from MMM, what's going on? This
Yeah,
is 2020, and people are doing Vision and Mission 2020.
2020, yeah. I just did a video like 2020 this year still.
Okay.
Already?
Yes.
You really balling like Ben 10?
Yeah.
Is the video out?
No, it's not out with
Okay.
Michael Blackson.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Michael.
Michael Blackson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Shot a video. He came
Where?
to Nigeria. He came to Nigeria for 2 days. He came, we shot the video, and he went back. So it's going to be crazy.
We can't
2020 is looking
So was it
good
just
already.
like a cameo appearance, or he actually was
He sang.
featured on the
This is
song?
his first time he's ever singing ever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be
So the
looking
single
forward
is
to
yet
that.
to drop as well.
It's yet to drop.
When are we expecting
February,
this?
just next month.
Okay, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, so this is 2020. Should we expect an album?
Yeah, an EP.
EP.
Yeah, March. I think March. EP, 6 songs. Already working on it.
So will you say Michael Blackson is the biggest artist you've worked with? And what's the biggest stage you've been on?
The biggest artist I've worked with. I don't know, man. MI is a king. Techno is a king. Michael Blackson is a king. So I just can't say the biggest, but they're all big.
Okay, so who's like that artist that once you jump on a song with you, like, yo, this is
it for me.
Wizkid. I've always been a fan of whiskey.
Another win for us. Cheers.
Who are these us first? I'm confused.
Whiskey FC.
Oh. Let's get the jersey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, we already have our Starboy jersey. We're cool with that. Thank you.
We're cool with that.
You don't want the FC.
What is so? What inspired you, or what? I don't know if the word motivated and inspired is right, but you were in a record label that wasn't giving you what you wanted, but you understood that you were supposed to carry out your obligation, have a conversation, negotiate, and carry it through before moving on. We don't see a lot of that because, I mean, right now we have one going on.
No,
and everybody feel I'm right.
Yeah.
What would you say is the problem when it comes to upcoming artists?
The thing is, before you sign a deal, I want you to be very sure of what you're signing. Yeah, because mine looked very good. It was good even. Like, who wouldn't sign to Mikel Obi's record label? So, but there are other things you look at. Like how many artists are there? How is their work rate? What can they do for you? But I didn't look at all that. I was like, Mikel Obi, I'm gone. But we thank God eventually that everything went out the way it did.
But at the time when you realized that I need to check out, let me use the word, right? How did you handle it at that time?
Did you get a lawyer?
No, I didn't get a lawyer. I didn't have to get to that. But I really wanted to leave because someone else wanted to sign me up. So it was like a drag back and forth. They said they still had things to do for me. They were going to show me video. They kept promising me and all. So eventually, I just got tired, and my sister's addiction, they sing too. They pulled me out. They got a record label, Egotainment. Then they put me on it. So.
All right, so can you weigh in on this whole Peruzzi, Davido, and Golden Boy Entertainment drama real quick?
Okay.
If you were in Peruzzi's shoes, what would you do right now?
The thing is, Peruzzi, all his songs online are gone. Like on iTunes, they pulled them down. So it's really affecting him now. Either way, it's affecting everybody, but I feel they should just settle Golden Boy out of court. They should just give him something. You know, if you discover someone, it doesn't matter what happens next. If you discovered Peruzzi, he gave him that, he promoted the Pocket song where Davido saw him. So it's just like I brought someone out, and eventually the person is now under you, and I can't get nothing from it. So. But I don't know what their deal was. I don't know what they signed or anything, so I can't really chip into it. But I feel Peruzzi, they should come out and settle him or something. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody that comes on this table, sing or rap. What do you want to do?
You have to give us a quick performance.
Yo, rude boy, swagger on dada. Back in the days, man, I fly the Okada. Flow incredible like M. Maya Baga. Started from Jeta and climbing up the ladder. Zaga, all my boys, they para. They won't put me low key, but I'm getting higher. At least on my mind, that's my desire. Man, no rest, man, never retire.
That's what's up, Black Nation.
What place would you say you are right now?
I would say C.
C. I like your humility. That's a good one. I think that will take you lots of places, great places. Big ups, man. So.
Okay, but I actually thought you were going to sing Sugar, so maybe you're doing another one. Yes, I do. So do another one before we go.
Oh my God.
You want the Sugar?
She like to fuck you when she hear my cassette.
Period.
Money, plenty, tell my jacket. My people love me, they know they forget.
That's what's up, Black.
I see you have different styles. What are your musical influences like? What do you listen to?
I love Wizkid. I basically listen to everybody that is good. I like good music, good sound. I don't care where you're from. You can be from anywhere in the world, Kenya, South Africa, anywhere. But as long as you have the sound, I just tend to tap to it, you know.
So if you have to mention your top 10...
Top 5.
Top 5.
I'm giving it a 10. Who would be on that list?
Okay, Wizkid, Wandeko, M.I. M.I. Techno.
Tiwa.
Why are you taking the names out of my mouth?
Why are you helping me make the list?
For real though, Tiwa, yeah, Tiwa. Davido.
You didn't sound so sure.
No,
But
of
let's
course.
go on.
Davido, I admire Davido a lot. He's got the hustle, the drive, and he's talented too. So, Davido. God. There are a whole lot of people I just can't
African
just...
giant.
Oh, Burna Boy, of course.
I think he should be on top 3 though.
Yeah, he's up. It's just the way I called it. Burna Boy, of course. Yeah. Man, I don't know about 10, no, but there are a whole lot of names in my head. I can't just...
What about Naira Marley?
Seriously?
Naira Marley is good. I feel him.
But it won't be on your list.
I don't want to provoke the Malians.
Malians, don't be provoked as we wrap up this episode of Tea Time. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can catch up on this conversation by visiting our YouTube channel and also subscribing at Plus TV Africa. You can also watch Tea Time on Auto TV and in London on Ben Television. My thank you, as always, you go to my co-anchors, Ewoluwo Ritu and Ifeoluwa Osunkaye, and the entire production team. And of course, our guest, Kido Blanco. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
My name is Elsie Godwin saying thank you for watching and see you later.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Osunkaye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. By no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity. No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Goal 10 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals speaks largely about eliminating inequality amongst countries and peoples. The United Nations clearly recognizes that businesses can also exacerbate inequality by being complicit in perpetrating biases and discrimination. The question, however, is, how exactly does this resonate with Nigeria? Lagos is the most populous city in Nigeria and has millions of persons. Among these are little persons also, often found in Osborn in Ikoyi. They are trying to make a living as they grapple with inequality and discrimination because of their physical appearances. Wisdom Abba and his wife Joanne are one of the little persons who moved from other parts of the country into Lagos to make a living by getting employed despite their physical inadequacies. They say that in Lagos, they had hoped to win the battle against discrimination, but this fight, however, seems to be a lost one as they are constantly marginalized by some employers while hunting for jobs.
Sometimes, somebody will promise me at where I'm selling market, best we drive car, we say we find work for me. I will pull up other person. At last, the person will not find a job because promise me, many of them.
When I want to look for a job, they say they can't give me a job, that I'm too short, then I should go.
This couple is not the only little person seeking an end to discrimination in job hunting. Nkubi and Shapali are celebrity broadcasters. They too say that they have had a painful taste of societal rejection.
I got called up for an interview. One of the management now walked up to me and told me that, look, I am sincerely very sorry. You are not the kind of person we are looking for.
My sister, growing up, she'll be like, Daddy, where do you get this thing from?
Though Shapali comes across as a very confident woman, she says growing up was torturous.
I'm talking to you, I don't know my mom till now. She ran away because I am a dog.
She adds that her self-esteem was dealt a devastating blow for even thinking of marrying a tall man and begetting tall offspring as her mother-in-law rejected her.
I had a relationship that the guy, took me home to the mom. And I was there in their living room, seated, and the guy went to call the mom. The mom came and I was like, where? Sorry, oh my dear, sorry. Where is the wife? My son said he brought. And I was like, it's me. And like, stop joking now, how will it be you? My son came up to come that he brought somebody, I was not accepted.
Bash and Iyatokpe are 9-to-5 persons. They reveal that they have also been treated with inequality countless times.
My own junior brother, the one that follows me, he also thought I'm kind of like a junior to him. We usually fight every day.
I go one place. I say then they find person will go sweep here. They say not true. I say I won't do it. You do it. Which hand do you want to take sweep here?
With only 12 years left to expunge inequality by 2030, only little is known if Nigeria will truly wipe out this menace. But Wisdom and his wife Joanne, Nkubi, Shapali, Bash and Iyatokpe continue to hope that someday they will be treated like every other human being. I am Mary Chinda for Plus TV Africa.
Uzodinma hits the ground running as he initiates probe of contracts awarded in the state from 10 years ago. An Islamic movement of Nigeria cries out, worried that Ibrahim El-Zakzaky may die in custody. This is Plus Politics, and I am Felicity Ezewike. very glad you could join us on the program tonight. Now, the new governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, who was inaugurated just yesterday, has started the process of probing the contracts awarded from 2010 till date. The governors that ruled the state within the 10-year frame are Ikedio Hakim, Rochas Okorocha, and Emeka Ihedioha. I wonder, is this the best move to begin an administration that is supposed to be anchored on rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery? Joining us in the studio is political analyst Chuka Ihono. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to.
All right, we'll be joined a little later via telephone by legal practitioner Liboros Oshoma. For now, let's get started with Chuka. Uzodinma's first move says freezing all state accounts and probing past administration's contracts that was awarded. What's your take?
Well, a few things. He started from 2010. I'm not sure why he can't go far, maybe back to 1999, for instance, and even possibly 1960. So I don't know what he wants to achieve within that 2010 to 2019. Is he saying the work is a bit too much for him if he goes a bit further back, or what exactly? Sometimes I wonder when people do things like this, why are you excluding other people before 2010?
But wouldn't that be too much for him to, within, probably in chunks that are manageable?
He has not said he's doing them in chunks, so I would have preferred if he had said, I'm probing this state completely. We're going to start from this to this in the first phase, and then we have a second phase and the third. And then he has asked for 4 days to do it.
Yes.
That's not serious. Quite frankly, you can't do it in 4 days. In 4 days, you're just going to pick up some people, some scapegoats, and move on. That's not enough. You have to do things